Have you ever wondered why some relationships thrive, while others barely survive? What if I told you the secret to lasting love isn't about grand gestures or fairy tale moments? It's about something much deeper. Welcome to Heart Tales, where we unravel the mysteries of love, one story at a time. Whether you're single, in a relationship, or just trying to figure it all out, you're in the right place. Grab a cozy blanket, maybe a cup of tea, and let's get started. Because here at Heart Tales, we believe every heart has a story worth telling. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and let's begin this journey together. Today, we're diving into a story where a girl rejects a heartless marriage and choose true love instead. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll see love in a whole new light. So, grab a cozy blanket, maybe a cup of tea, and let's get started. Because here at Heart Tales, we believe every heart has a story worth telling. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and let's begin this journey together. They say weddings are supposed to be the happiest day of your life. Mine felt like a funeral. The groom didn't even look at me. He didn't love me. He never had. I was just a pawn in a game between families, money, power. That night, I discovered something. A secret. A betrayal that broke me. But fate wasn't done with me yet, because the next time I opened my eyes, I was no longer the woman in the white dress. I was me, 5 years younger, and this time, I wasn't going to let anyone choose my life for me. My name is Aria Winthorn. I was born into a family of privilege, raised to obey, and groomed to marry someone I didn't love. My heart was never asked for an opinion. But when I died on my wedding night and woke up in the past, I realized something. Life doesn't always give second chances. But when it does, you don't waste them. I was 22 when I was engaged to the man who ruined my life, Callan Thorne. He was charming in public, ruthless in private. Our engagement was announced at a masquerade ball. I remember the words. I remember the chill in my veins. "Smile, Aria," my mother had whispered. "He's our future." Our family was falling into debt. The Thorne family offered salvation. For a price. Me. Callan never pretended to love me. His smiles were hollow. His touches colder than glass. He was handsome, yes, but not gentle, not kind. He made it clear. This was a contract, not a romance. I tried to convince myself it would get better. That if I just tried harder, he would see me. I wore the gowns he liked, stayed silent at dinners, smiled when I wanted to scream, but his eyes, they always looked past me, to her, Selena, his secretary, slender, sultry, and always by his side. I should have known, I should have seen it. My wedding day arrived like a storm cloud. I stood in front of the mirror, veiled and voiceless. My hands trembled, my heart hollow. My mother tightened the corset until I couldn't breathe. "This is what women do, Aria," she said. "We endure." I walked down the aisle to thunderous silence. Callan didn't even glance at me. The vows were exchanged like business contracts. His kiss, cold and obligatory. That night, at the reception, I escaped for air. I wandered into the garden maze. I shouldn't have, but maybe I was meant to. "You'll divorce her once the merger is done, right?" Selena's voice. "Of course," Callan replied. "She's just a placeholder. The Winthorn name gets me the deal. After that, she's history." My breath caught. My chest burned. I ran. I didn't watch my steps. I slipped. A stone stairwell. The world turned upside down. My body hit the ground. Silently said, "Is she?" "She's not breathing." Darkness, stillness. Suddenly, gasping breath. Light, birds chirping, a familiar ceiling overhead. But I wasn't dead. I woke up in my old bedroom, in the Winthorne estate, the pink wallpaper, the stuffed swan toy I gave away at 19. I sat up, looked at the date on my phone. 5 years ago, I was 17. Again, before the engagement, before the pain, I had been reborn. At first I thought I was dreaming. The smell of jasmine from my windowsill, the light tapping of my younger brother's video game in the hallway, everything was too vivid. But then I looked into the mirror. I was 17 again. My hair hadn't yet been styled into lifeless waves. My eyes still had hope and a bit of fire. I ran downstairs. My father was on a call, shouting about market shares. My mother sat at the breakfast table, scanning charity event guest lists like they were holy scriptures. "You're up early," she said. That was when it hit me. This was real. I had a second chance. In my past life, I had spent these next few years trying to please them. This time, I would do things differently. I would live for me, but I couldn't change everything at once. I had to be smart, strategic. Step 1, avoid the engagement. Step 2, rebuild myself by my rules. Step 3, discover who I really was when I wasn't trying to be someone's trophy. The first opportunity came during the Winthorne Blackridge Gala. In my last life, this was where Callan and I first met. Introduced by our parents under sparkling chandeliers and false pretenses. I wore a different dress this time. Simple, elegant, not designed to impress. I kept to the edges of the room, sipping lemon water instead of the champagne I used to fake confidence with. And then I saw him, Cullen, tall, suited, polished, and just as arrogant. "You must be Aria," he said, with that smug smirk I had once mistaken for charm. "I'm sorry," I said, raising my chin. "I don't believe we've met, and I'm not interested." His smirk faltered. "Your mother mentioned we'd be speaking tonight." "She doesn't speak for me." He blinked, surprised. I turned and walked away, my heels clicking like war drums on the marble floor. For the first time in both of my lives, I felt free. I started writing again. In my last life, I gave up my love for poetry because it wasn't useful. But now, every page I filled made me feel more like myself. My mother noticed the changes. She cornered me one morning, holding my phone. "Why have you blocked the thorns?" "Because I have no interest in being sold." "Aria," she snapped. "We raised you better." "No, you raised me obedient. I'm not that girl anymore." Her face twisted in disbelief. But I didn't back down. Not this time. I applied for a summer internship at the city library. Not a prestigious office, not a fashion house. A quiet, dusty building filled with books and stories. And it was there that I met him, Liam. He wasn't flashy, no designer suits, no bodyguards. Just a messy-haired man with ink-stained fingers and a gentle smile. He helped me organize the poetry section. I helped him alphabetize old classics. And when we talked, it felt real. He listened, not because I was a Winthorne, but because he was curious about me. We laughed over coffee, shared poems over lunch breaks, and for the first time in 2 lifetimes, I felt seen. "You know," he once said, brushing dust off an old Shakespeare copy, "some stories need a rewrite to have a happy ending." I smiled. I was already rewriting mine. Summer at the library felt like stepping into another world, while the rest of the city boiled under status, ambition, and power games. I found peace among stories. Liam became my anchor. He wasn't like the men I grew up around, loud, cold, or controlling. He spoke softly with purpose. He listened without interrupting, and he looked at me like I wasn't a name, or a title, or a pawn. Just, Aria, you always have your nose in poetry. He teased one afternoon, and you always sneak chocolate into the returns desk. I replied, you caught that, huh? You leave the wrappers behind, Liam. He laughed, and I swear, I forgot every heartbreak I'd ever known. I learned more about him too. He'd inherited the bookstore from his grandfather, but left law school to run it full time. Everyone said it was a waste. I thought it was brave. Don't you miss the money? I asked. Not as much as I love waking up happy. And that stuck with me. We weren't official. We were just learning each other, slowly, gently, but every touch, his hand brushing mine when passing a book, felt more intimate than any kiss I ever received from Callan. One evening, we sat on the roof of the library, watching stars blink into the night. Do you believe in fate? I asked him. He tilted his head. I believe life gives us crossroads. Fate just makes sure we get a second shot if we mess up the first, so we can choose again. Exactly. I smiled. I had already chosen, and this time, I was choosing right. It was almost too perfect. That should have warned me. One morning, I arrived at the library to find Liam looking pale. You okay? I asked. He hesitated, then handed me an envelope. Inside was a glossy invitation, sealed with a familiar crest. The Thorne family. They've reached out, Liam said, unsure. Apparently, they're sponsoring a literacy gala. They want our bookstore involved. My blood turned to ice. Callan, I whispered. You know him. I nodded slowly. Too well. Flashback to the last life. The cold wedding, the betrayal in the garden maze. I thought I was done with that life, but he wasn't done with me. I ignored the invitation. I skipped the gala, but that didn't stop him. A week later, Callan walked into the library like he owned it. His eyes raked over the shelves, then stopped when he saw me. There she is, he said, smug. The runaway heiress. Leave, I said, steady. I've been patient, Aria. Watching, waiting. You disappeared and now you're, what? Playing house with a bookstore clerk. Liam stepped forward. She asked you to leave. Callan sneered. Do you even know who you're with? Yes, I said. Someone who treats me like I matter. You think this is love, he snapped. You think you'll be happy living poor and irrelevant. Yes, I said. Because I'd rather be poor and loved than rich and hollow. You don't get to walk away. I made a deal with your parents. You're promised to me. Not anymore. They'll disown you. Let them. I grabbed Liam's hand. I'd rather lose their fortune than lose myself again. Cullen's face twisted. You'll regret this. I already regretted giving you one lifetime. I won't waste another. He storms out. Then Liam turns to her. You okay? Now I am. He squeezed my hand. You're braver than you know. And just like that, I had finally closed the door on the life that once caged me. But I didn't just walk away from Callan. I walked toward the life I chose for myself. After Callan stormed out of the library, I expected backlash. But something strange happened. Nothing. No lawsuits. No press scandals. Just silence. My parents tried. They called, emailed, even sent my younger brother to talk some sense into me. You're throwing away everything we built, my mother cried during one desperate call. No, I said. I'm building something new. And I meant it. I moved out of the Winthorne estate and into a small apartment above the bookstore. It was creaky, drafty, and perfect. I took classes in literature, joined open mic poetry nights, and submitted essays to local magazines. And through it all, Liam was by my side. You know, I said to Liam, in my last life, I didn't think love was real. And now I know that love doesn't take, it gives. He smiled. What would you say if I told you I want to give you something permanent? I froze. My heart leapt. He reached into his jacket and pulled out a key. I blinked. It's the key to the shop, he said. I want you to be co-owner. I laughed, relieved, then touched beyond words. This is better than a ring, I whispered, because this time I chose it. Later, she sits in the back of the bookstore, watching a little girl flip through a fairy tale book. Watching others fall in love with stories made me realize something. I didn't just get a second chance at life. Some people think being reborn means becoming someone new, but for me, it meant becoming who I was meant to be all along. I wasn't the cold bride in white. I wasn't the daughter playing dress-up in a glass cage. I was Aria Winthorne, a girl who burned the old script and rewrote her story, not for status, not for survival, but for love, true love. And this time, I didn't just live happily ever after. I lived authentically ever after. The end? No, just the beginning. I got a second chance at living. I wasn't someone's puppet anymore. I was the author of my own life. I had turned the page on pain and found peace. I had traded control for connection, power for poetry, perfection for purpose. And in doing so, I had found something better than a happy ending. I found myself. Thanks for watching. Hoped you liked it. Before leaving, please hit the subscribe button, comment your thought, and share with your nearest and dearest one. See you in the next one. Until to the next one, spread love.